Richard. How are you?
Because they don't need to use it, that's why.
Yeah, I had, took me a while.
Are they
That's
good?
right.
Yes.
Took me a while too. No, you're just being nice.
And could I have some water?
I call the meeting to order. We'll ask Mr. Kennedy to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am Charles McKnight, Chairman. I will call the roll today. As I call your name, you can raise your hand, please, for those who may wonder who we are. William Chase. I'm here. Martin Carpenter. Here. Greg Kennedy. Here. And Richard Ashton. Present. Everyone is present and accounted for. Madam Director, do we have any, first of all, I'll ask, is there any conflict of interest from among the board members? No, sir. None. Is everybody accountable? All right. Then we'll move on to public comment period. Madam Director, did anyone sign up for that?
Mr. Chair, no, sir, we do not have anyone requesting to speak today.
Sir. Okay. Next, we'll move to the approval of minutes. Has everyone had time to review our minutes?
They were sent to the board.
Then I would ask for a motion at this moment.
I'm going to accept the minutes. Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the minutes. You've heard the question. Prepared to vote? Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So be it. And now, Madam Director, we will first address our own business.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I have furnished y'all just within the last couple of days a listing of all the assistants that have agreed to serve. And I furnished them both to both political party chairs, saying that they would be presented today as a slate to you for approval. And then I did hear a response from the Republican chair, and he gave us a few more names. Those are indicated on your list today, and you got that email. They're in red. So we are thrilled to have them. We still, though, are needing assistance, of course, in the Robbins area.
Okay. So what we need to do is vote on it. Someone make a motion, please.
I'll move we approve the list as submitted. Second.
It's been moved and properly second to approve the list as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. And so it is so moved.
Can you speak into the mic just a little bit more? Yes.
Certainly. 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 Is there any other old business to attend to?
Mr. Chair, I have worked, I think, completely on the continuity plan. But as Mr. Carpenter mentioned the day we first looked at it, it is a living document that has to be reviewed and changed from time to time. But we have met with emergency services, and we have contacted everybody about their responsibility under this plan. And so we have added a few more attachments. Would y'all like a hard copy before you approve it? Or do y'all have any comments on the continuity plan?
Is there anything significant with the attachments or
The
just an
attachments
update?
were like what would go on the truck when it came back in to be ready to go set up in another place. We had not designated what that was. And we have finalized the alternate places, because as I told you, O'Neill did not express any interest in helping us. But the college came right back and said we could go to the auditorium. And we've since met with Southern Pines and some other places about their alternates. And so I feel good about that. So we can defer that until the next meeting and give you a hard copy so you can see the whole thing.
We
But
can
the
do that.
state came in and did our wellness check last week, and everything was found to be in order. And so they have a copy of that on file now. And once y'all sign it, we'll give them the signature page too.
I would imagine that once we approve this, that even if like 2 weeks later you have an update, then that becomes change one to the plan dated, whatever the date is, it's finally approved. And then if there's another update, it becomes two. And that's how those documents work, which I think is the best way to go.
Absolutely.
So tell us more about the wellness check. That's interesting.
And you have the hard copy book, or do they have it?
I don't think they took it.
Would you go get it, please, Ann? Our district, our state district tech came with one of the specialists from the state, and Allison Blackman came, and she is in-person voting specialist. And they just go over our practices, and we have to answer a bunch of questions and tell them what we have. And they did not ask anything. In fact, our emergency bin had caught their attention, and they took pictures of it and said it was a wonderful idea. So it's just a sharing of what we've done, and then they come back after visiting all 100 counties and get some best practices and comes back with us. But that was the only thing that they really went through. Very few, it was more just like a visit.
So after they inventory all the counties, then they may issue a memo saying, hey, here's some things we saw that
Yes,
maybe
yeah.
everybody ought to consider.
And if they had found, if you've got a county that's struggling with something, then that lets them come in and help you get compliant.
They did take that.
I
did
thought
take
they
that
did.
one. Yeah, and we have the copies. I put them in.
But we'll get copies so y'all can see what they've done. I thought they took it.
They didn't do anything in that book. That was really what we answered on the same. So it wasn't anything that they did in the book.
So what is the pleasure of the board in terms of how we should move forward on this?
I'll say we'll table the
Continuity plan.
continuity plan.
Okay.
So is there any deadline on submitting that we should be aware of?
They have it, and it was just noted that it was still up for consideration with all the departments, and that was the part that I had to do, was to get up with everybody, like going out to the sports complex and letting them know that this is what EMS has recommended that you do. And of course, the county's continuity plan has not been updated since 2018. So they were very impressed that we had taken that on. Of course, it was because the state was asking that we did take it on. They normally are the ones that want you to update it, but we actually were ahead of them. So, but when I called the sports complex and said, you've been recommended as our alternate site if we can't go to our training building, they were very welcoming, said good, they would welcome us being out there, whatever they needed to do to help us. Great attitude by all the county.
Well, I like to, I reviewed the plan. I thought it was very comprehensive. I tried to find opportunities to improve it. Quite frankly, I couldn't. I'm wondering if we all reviewed it, do we have any specific questions or concerns? If not, why can't we move on it?
And I think I totally agree with Richard. This point, we've looked at it, and whatever, if we approve it today, then that's the plan as of today. And if you make changes to it, then you have a change sheet, and it's change 1, 2, 3, or 4. And you're talking about the county is like hadn't done anything for 2 years. I think that's a mistake. If something changes a month from now, then it needs to be updated so it's as current as possible. So I think I agree with Richard. If you're happy with it and there's nothing significant changed from what we've already talked about previously,
Okay.
we could approve it as of today. It becomes the final. And if there need to be changes, then we do it as a change sheet.
That sounds great to me. We need to put that to a vote, because that would be one thing. And we thank you for being diligent and conscientious and having already done all the work. So would someone put that to a motion, please?
I move we accept the continuity plan as proposed by the director.
I second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we will accept the continuity plan as proposed by our director. You heard the question, prepared to vote. All in favor, say aye. So moved.
Thank you.
All right, now we move to new business, Madam Director.
Okay, and Mr. Chair, y'all will remember us talking in the last meeting about the challenge that we had to get people to go into nursing homes
Yes.
to be a member of this MAT team. And so when I sent out the agenda, Mr. Beto noticed that we were adding a MAT team, and he immediately responded and said, Glenn, I really wasn't aware that you needed more people. And I said, well, Tom, until we started calling people to see if they would go in, we didn't realize it either, that we would have such a challenge. And so I asked Ann to reach out to some folks. And so Diane Chisholm actually had come by the office one day, and she agreed to do it. And then Lori Bundy is one of our resource people. And she also said, let me talk with my mother. She lives with her elderly mother and is responsible for her care. and make sure her mother wasn't concerned, with anything. And so Lori has said yes. And then Diane went home and talked to her husband. And over the weekend, he decided it was not a good idea for Diane to do that. So I have to sadly tell you that she has withdrawn her name as being available. But I would like for the board to go ahead and name Lori. So if we get another person, then bring it to you. And as I was explaining to Mr. Carpenter earlier, we can add these people at any time. Now, as I have spoken with Penny, telling them the challenge that we had with not being able to get people volunteering to do this, they said they understood, and that the independent living people said that they could take care of their folks within themselves. The other residents, there were people that were able to do that. So they were very understanding at Penic of what we were facing. And our next second largest facility, which of course is St. Joseph Bellmead, and they have not had anybody interested in this primary, and probably not so much, as you can imagine, the town election. If it's not on the news, then their residents aren't really interested in the election. But we know that every election is important. And I certainly have encouraged Ann to keep trying to locate some people so that we can have that opportunity to help people. And so in the coming weeks, hopefully I could meet with maybe Lori, which would be an unaffiliated person, and that I have an affiliation and that I could help. And I'm more willing to go somewhere where we don't have to go inside, if we can be outside. And that's what they did all last year. So I have been approved as a MAP member. So maybe in the coming weeks, Ann will be calling me to say, Glenda, are you willing to do this?
All right. Sorry.
So other than Diane, I know we had a little bit of difficulty with that in the last election too. Did we lose some other people who
Oh,
said
yes.
that they don't want to do it anymore?
They don't, well, it's not right now with the COVID, they don't want to do it, with the circumstances that they are.
Of course, we had that last year too, but
We did.
And some of the, I know one young lady is working. The other lady she travels for work, so she wasn't gonna be here. I know, the one older lady was also working at Sandville. She's like the director of nursing, teaching over there. And the gentleman, he himself is quite elderly, so I don't think he was interested in doing it again. So that was all the feedback I got from the ones that answered me.
So we're not gonna give up on it, but
So our process is, we will approve.
I would
as
like
we
for
can
y'all to consider.
As they
approving
come,
Laura.
and then continue to recruit. And so let's vote on Lori Bundy now as being a member of the MAP team.
I so move that we appoint Lori Bundy to the MAC team.
Okay. Second. Moving properly second that we will approve Lori Bundy for the MAP team. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed. And so we, Madam Director. what do we have
Okay.
for this next?
Mr. Chair, before we go to the consideration of the absentees, yesterday I sent you this memo, which I have printed out for you. It is the guidelines that the state has come up with the COVID for this fall. I would like to send this to the pilot and let them know that the public know what precautions we will take. And that while we're asking for everyone to wear a mask, they will not be denied the right to vote. But I think it's important that people feel comfortable about going to vote and giving a little more attention to this election. It's been very, very quiet, as you know. Of course, if you go around the traffic circle after last weekend, it's just unbelievable, the signs. And so the next time y'all come, and we'll be over at the Ag Center in just a couple of weeks, you'll see that many signs too. I hope that we have that interest.
Now, I
So,
saw in that memo, they talk about a lot of signs having to go up, COVID related. Are the poll workers going to do that the night before, the morning of, or do you have a group of contractors, whatever, that go around each and make sure everything's set up? Looks to me like that could be a lot of work as well. I just wonder how we get the signs up, who's responsible for that?
well, when you came in the door, you saw all the signage.
Yes,
And so when we deliver, it's our practice right now that we actually, as staff, make sure that that signage goes up so that there's no question
okay,
about that. Also, as we go through training now, we've been telling them that we felt we'd be going along with the precautions, but now we have it in writing from the state what they said.
And it's thorough.
But I really love that on, I think it's the back page, that they have what the voter can expect, and I think that's important for them to know that. And we've talked about that and we have some signs left from last year talking about the COVID practices and the distance, of course, on all that. So Marty, last year we actually we had to go in like one whole day before and get all the, what they call the PPEs out there. And so actually Angela and I will be meeting with property management later today or tomorrow about how we're going to accomplish that and get all the supplies out. But we know that they'll need to mark some of the distance marking, and the county did that for us the last time. So I think that we'll again, but we've got to talk with them about that. So
of course, with
that's our plan.
only 5 polling places, it's not as big a deal as
Right.
we were looking
The
at the
primary is
2022
not
you
anything
had
but
in 2000, yeah.
then come November, you got 20, right, Angela? So it's not 26, but it's 20, and it's still a lot of territory. We don't have to go all the way out to Wood Lake, which is great, or to Ben Salem, which is great, but it's still a lot of territory. So we will be meeting with them to make sure that they understand that we still have that obligation. So
So you keep the staff busy, I can see that.
okay, thank you. So now it's time to consider the absentees or what?
Can we send that to the Sand Hill Sentinel also,
I can, yes, sir.
if we can put that in
I will be glad to do that, yes. Okay, do y'all have the absentees now? Okay. Come on. And Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
kind of historically, board members, you have the list of the absentees. You got a poll book. And we'll let one member open the envelope, another member open the ballot, get a tray lid over there on that too, and let the ballots in. Do one. Yeah. Now, the ones that are numbered OS, that's one stop, they're voting in the lobby. We just have applications. They've already put their ballot in the tabulator for the one stop, so y'all won't see those ballots. So you basically will only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ballots to look at.
Who wants to do what?
So who wants to do what?
I'll
I'm
call
a
them off.
newbie, I'll watch.
Craig's a good caller.
I'll call them off. We don't need to divide them up, do we?
No, not today. And then we've got one to remark, and so we just need one Republican and one Democrat remarking. And then if y'all want to go back and check your marks, I'll be fine.
That would be a military ballot. presumably?
Yeah, the military. Okay, I'm gonna hold on to the replacement ballot.
Somebody else need to look at the invoice while I talk it out.
Yeah,
I'll pass
he
it.
just passed them down after he opened them.
Okay, so our first one is gonna be military 1. Military 5. Military 208.
Am I to open this?
Civilian
Number 2. And then our overseas 142.
Very good. Now, is it the OVR that has to be remarked, Angela? Yes. So this OVR came electronically, and so y'all will have to take a real ballot and mark it to duplicate that. Go ahead and stamp it. Got enough paperwork there, don't we?
Okay, who wants to?
Yeah, let the two of them.
Okay. So, this is the case, you mark it out, you mark, that's the real ballot, this is the original, so you're gonna call out their selections, and it's the case, we'll mark.
And you just make sure I'm not doing it right. Okay, the first one was Taylor Clement.
Wait till you see boxes and boxes and boxes.
The second one is Ann Peterson.
How many rounds? 1,000, 7,000?
Is that it? This is-
There's two choices,
So
okay,
that's,
so we can have this midnight to double check, to make sure everything looks,
and then I got this one.
I'll take that, that's just their paperwork.
Okay,
Now, and they write a
Can I
number
see
at
what
the
that-
top.
Oh, yes.
to see what that is.
Actually, just a piece under the hat, you write down their number and their precinct. So, up here in this corner,
Sure.
you're gonna write down
It's amazing how quickly you forget the process.
OVR 142. And they are behind games, so you can like TVN right next to it, that's their precinct.
And now you keep this as well. don't you?
Yes, and we keep all of it.
Okay.
There.
Here's now this grab of paper.
Yeah. We're requirements right there.
Would you tell Richard that the original minutes and the original poll are in that gray folder for everybody?
So,
Or in the
everybody wants to.
green folder?
I just want to show you that we're starting with, I haven't opened them yet, but you want to look, there's nothing in the box. There.
Yes. Just start it there and then I'll sign it. Thank you.
We have zero on the machine. I just zero thing, so each one of you will sign on this zero thing.
Yeah, Bill, we tell them not to eat over the machine.
So the only one that they read that was the overseas.
Yes, because it was emailed. Or it came, actually, it came in through portal.
Okay, and you, Craig, just approve the other ones. We all don't have to, because you looked at the other four.
Well,
And then five,
I didn't really look at them, you know, we just, we checked them off.
so five was our
Okay.
number one.
And then Richard opened them,
Okay,
and then just put the balance in.
got it, got it. I'm trying to get the,
Yeah, procedures, the ones that I had,
and that was what Bill and I did.
right, they all have to be. So you approve the first, that's all right. I think they're substantial.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have to initial all those like you did last year.
This one you see.
The envelopes, remember that?
Yeah, and remember, we went to just doing the signing of that. So we have to go in and put on the envelope what date it was considered, and then that backs it up.
They're just, they have a system. We didn't, we did read out all,
Yeah, just today.
how did we do that?
I'm sorry, I made it so long.
Read out every number, don't we? We don't check all the signatures, we spot check.
Well, if you looked
We should look
carefully,
at it too.
the military do not have the requirements that your civilian does. And so the civilian was the one that did have the two signatures
Right.
this year and the address.
And down here, I'm gonna make sure I'm
So
saying
we
the right
check
spot.
that.
Angela.
No, don't sign that.
No, that one's for the last day when we actually close out tabular. So for this, these meetings were canceled. because we didn't
And
have
you
the
have the
initial
envelopes.
layers.
Oh, I still need to initial here.
The envelopes.
Those
Okay.
two spots, like where you-
Okay.
Okay, let Bill and Marty look at those two different envelopes, the difference between the military and the one civilian.
Oh, okay. So this is the military.
Yeah.
Smaller one, and then this is just the bill.
Okay.
And then you'll see on there. On the middle, see that civilian on their printout, it'll say CID, your number, just like in the military one.
Okay, so there's a, is this Willina Clement and then William Clement? I was looking at the witness down here. I'm trying to,
Yes, now your spouse can be,
a witness.
yeah.
When I first thought, is that William doing both of them? Then I see it's Willina. Okay.
So your spouse can be your witness.
Okay.
So we'll do that at each meeting, that way.
So it's back to two witnesses or one
Start with
witness.
that next number.
And then what about the military? Does the military need, okay, this is right here.
So that's the voter, and they don't need a witness. They don't need a witness or an notary.
Okay, from overseas. Okay, military. Okay.
And Marty, their ballot actually bears that number because a absentee ballot is an extension of your right to vote. And they're retrievable, so we have to have an identification on them. And so we would never look here at the envelope to see what that is and try to look at that ballot. It's still a secret ballot, but it has to be retrievable, so that's how we do that. And Mr. Chairman, those are two things I need for you to sign. Well, actually, all the board has to sign what you're signing. Angela? In the gray folder beside Chairman McKnight are the 2 PARs he needs to sign.
Okay. Well, those minutes of there that they need all sign that.
They've got the original minutes right there in the green folder. I think it's being
Oh,
signed.
that's what he signed. Okay.
Down here.
Where that sign was.
A totally different story, isn't it, Craig?
That's-
Yeah.
I don't know how we lived through it all. It was quite exciting, wasn't it, Richard, last year with all the
Now,
numbers
even over here.
Okay, yeah.
and all the.
No, even though we didn't look at these.
Well, when he was calling them out, that's when we.
No, I meant the,
Yeah,
One
because
stop.
those are up there, you're not actually.
They
You're not
can't-
counting.
without-
no,
They're
no,
up
the
there.
one stop was what I was asking.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. And what we did last year, the one
Organization.
stop was
You
not
had
the
an
same.
organization.
Like you said, we got it done, it wasn't pretty, but we got it done, and it was a good election.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
It was good.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
The option.
Commissioners.
I'll try. On that yet. Are you?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, that's the only thing I know. We're still, the staff is working through getting the 5 precincts of Southern Pines all trained. And East Norwood is hurting for an assistant in residence. And so I gave Ann about 5 names today to call to see if we could find some. And then staff will send y'all a note next week about when they're gonna train for the November election. So if y'all want to come in to any of those trainings, you can. And so,
And just to let me know, since I missed that one, so I can participate.
that will all be repeated many, many times, so y'all will have lots of chance. In fact, this afternoon, Angela's got a class at 5:30, and then, is that right?
3:30.
Huh?
3:30.
2:30,
3:30.
3:30. Okay, it says 5:30 on your paper. And then tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, and tomorrow evening at 5:30.
Some of those classes didn't have people, and that's why she got it on there.
Oh,
So
okay.
the 9 and the 2 got canceled for tomorrow.
The 9 and 2 got canceled.
So we have a 3:30 today. Okay, that's today.
Okay.
And tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Didn't work.
Right? You said at 9?
Yeah, there's no people.
Oh, on
right, there's
Wednesday.
no listed folks.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
That's what it is. Today is 3:30.
Oh,
Nothing, I'm confused. Okay, nothing
Okay.
9 and 2.
so Wednesday at 5:30, you do have a class. Okay. And Thursday at 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
and at 2 o'clock, and at 5:30, she'll be doing classes if you want to come.
But these are all Southern Pines. We will be getting ready to start on the November ones as well. So there'll be plenty of chances. As soon as we get that one scheduled, we'll send it out.
Okay.
But we do have law training scheduled for the 27th at 7 o'clock. That you do need to.
And I'll send y'all a note on that.
Okay.
And Mr. Chair, I think that's all.
Okay. If there's nothing else to attend to today, I want to thank everyone for working so well together. And I appreciate everybody's conscientious concern for doing what we can to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to vote in not only a safe environment, but also that protocol that has been established just follow. I just appreciate you all so much. You too. Also, Madam Director, thank you.
I
So-
would add, I want to make sure we do that. I believe this is the director's last meeting in front of us. And we should,
Oh, wow. I was thinking it was the next meeting.
so a simple resolution is not enough to express our gratitude for all she's done to train all of us and her decades of service to the county and to the voters of the county. And I'm thrilled to learn that she's prepared to stay active with the Board of Elections on the MAT team, and hopefully in other ways, I'm sure she will, because this county and the Board of Elections means so much to her, and she means so much to us.
I don't want to personally thank you for the assistance that you've given me since I've taken on this new job, and to let you know that words are inexplicable to let you know how they have expressed to me and I've experienced your value to us. Any other comments before?
Well, I appreciate Glenda bringing me on board as the new person, the new member, and enlightening me on how things operate. Thank you very much, Glenda.
It's been a privilege. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other comment?
I've expressed myself to Linda on several occasions.
All right, all right.
She knows I appreciate her
Yes.
integrity and her competence and her friendliness.
Integrity, competence, and friendliness. I think that is the summary of one whom anyone can look up to. Now will someone make a motion for us to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved and proper second that we would adjourn. Meeting is now adjourned.
I need to sign under one of the members.